Oh, that's not your fault. That's my fault. Because I use the same link a lot of times just because it's so much easier and I'm a tiny bit lazy.
I understand. I understand.
So how are you?
I'm good this morning. How are you?
Good. How did you hear about me? Are you one of my TikTok people?
I am.
Oh,
I just saw you. I don't know, maybe it's on your for you page or whatever.
nice.
I just started following you, and I
Heck
really
yeah.
like your down to earth, no BS style.
Thanks.
So
Well, sometimes I wish I had a little more BS in my life. What are we doing today? Are we doing energy, mediumship, psychic?
well, I wasn't really sure. I just kind of felt the need to meet with you. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily have a question. You know, I don't, I mean, my grandparents passed a while ago, so I don't really feel the need to connect.
So I'm getting a super strong vibe from you about spirit guides and the fact that you've been struggling, not necessarily, you know, they're there, you have a relationship with at least one, but I do feel like you have a larger team that you've been struggling to connect to. Would you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. So I do feel that the one that you kind of know and talk to, not that you, I don't feel like you've given, it's a her, yes? A female energy.
Yes.
Have you given her a name?
No.
Okay. Okay. Because I do feel like she has actually been, well, I'm not sure if these two are, I'm going to ask them to separate because I do have a female that would have passed away in your life. But it was some time ago and you wouldn't know much about her. I do feel like she's here. But then I also have your spirit guide, right? And then I have your grandma. And so I feel like you're kind of surrounded by femininity, and it's good because you're a very strong person with a bit of a masculine personality. Would you understand that?
Okay. You kind of froze up just a little bit. I get the
Oh,
feminine
no.
part. That's okay.
Yeah, I do feel like you're surrounded by some feminine energy because you're a strong person. And I do feel like you're a little bit more on the masculine side. Would you understand that about yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. So some of that femininity comes, same, by the way. I'm basically a dude in a woman's body. But some of that femininity comes in and kind of helps soften your edges and just remind you, you know, that in this lifetime we don't always have, you've had to be strong. Okay. Yeah, you've had a bit of some fuckery that has been tossed at you. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've had to be strong. So one of the things from your grandma is that she's like, she understands that you don't feel the need to connect because you two are already connected. You do. I feel like you have conversations. I feel like you are just very comfortable in the relationship that you have, spirit to human wise. Now, let's go back. I'm not sure if this person over here and I'm not trying to insult her. I'm letting her know. I want to thank her for being here, but would you understand when you were younger? I feel like this is high school 20s, late high school, early 20s, somewhere in there, that you would have lost a female friend. Would you remember that? That's all right.
I don't think so.
I'll leave that with you because I do feel like it was a friend, and I feel like it was, and that's why she's not like coming through hot and heavy, because I don't feel like you necessarily would recognize her, if that makes sense. But interestingly enough, your energy and her energy really clicked back then, even though you don't necessarily remember it. She's kind of just an extra set of arms, if you will, right? Just an extra set of hands. She's kind of cool too, because she's really spontaneous. I do feel like she died in some sort of a really quickly in some sort of an accident because she was a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I'm asking her who could validate this for you. You still have a friend from high school, yes, that you hang out with?
Yes.
Is she blonde?
Yes.
She might be able to remind you and validate who this other person is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She really wanted to get that off her chest. That's so funny. That's cute. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, also the other friend that is blonde, you guys are trying to hang out more because I feel like you guys are both missing each other, but you're both busy, which I mean, it doesn't take a psychic to figure that out. It's 2022,
Right.
right? Yeah, it's
Right.
everybody's busy. Well, let's go back to your spirit guide because your spirit team, I should say, because I have a couple of animals. I have two men, I have her, and then I have a child guide. So you have quite the team. And this isn't even your whole team, but this is who's kind of able to come through to me, if you will, because I feel like you actually have a few eight I haven't brought through any aliens before. I feel like you have a couple of like they're how would I put that? I brought through an Atlantean frogman one time, and this is different. This is
Okay.
like this is like just straight energy, just straight. So calling them an alien isn't necessarily accurate, right? Because it's kind of funny because they're laughing about it because they were like, "We're not the aliens. You guys are the aliens. We've been here much longer than any of you. You're actually extremely tuned into the spiritual world, yes?"
I'm trying to be. It, I know I am to a point. I just want to hone in on it more, and I don't necessarily
It's in,
know, even though I'm trying to
yeah,
do it more.
it's in there. You have a badass spirit team. Like, here's the thing, you're not a very patient person. You've actually gotten quite a bit further than you've given yourself credit for, yes?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think, well, you only started this, what, maybe a year ago ish?
Yeah.
No, you're doing great. And so there's one, oh my God, one of your, do you have an affinity for gay men or do you have a brother or
Oh my
something that's,
God, yes.
what, one of your spirit guides is like,
Well, my son is bi, and he's currently dating another man, so more on the, you know, likes men's side. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I kind of always have. I think they're cute and fun, and that's funny.
It is funny. He's funny. He's funny, and I'm not sure. This isn't a relative. You've already said you haven't lost that many people, but he okay. So one time I was doing a reading for someone, and this gay guy came through, and he came through on this theater stage with curtains, and he was like, "Hello," and I was like, "Oh my God, that's a gay guy." That's the feeling this guy has, right? This like
Oh,
over the top, like, "Hello." He's just so fun. Oh my word.
wow.
He and you are gonna actually, I feel like, start really interacting here fairly soon. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know that this is his name, so you do not need to call him this, okay? But
Okay.
do you remember the Just Jack character from Grace under Grace and Will and
Yeah.
Grace?
Yeah.
That's his vibe. That's
Oh.
his vibe, right?
Oh.
Just Jack. Just over
Okay.
the top, and he's just a lot of fun. I do feel like there's been something serious going on lately in your life, and normally you are a laughter person, you are a everything is funny person, but something in the last maybe 3 years, give or take, happened that really kind of brought you down. What's up?
Well, my husband has multiple sclerosis, so we've had some, ups and downs with that.
Okay.
He's doing good right now. I've had multiple surgeries. I just had a full hysterectomy last
Oh,
year, and literally a week and a half ago, I had two hernia surgeries. So
so you're in
I'm
a what the fuck mode.
yeah, I'm just like, okay, how do I just keep me healthy? I don't want
Yeah,
to have any more surgeries.
yeah.
And I feel all over the place and chaotic, and
I have such chills now. This is why your spirit team is coming in. They're like, number one, trapped emotions. Look it up, Google it, start dealing with it. I literally, it's so funny. The world is, the universe is amazing. I just had a conversation with the last woman that you popped in on trapped emotions. There is a book out there called Emotion Code. Okay. Do not pay for
Okay.
the course. The course is not worth it. Sadly, I did. But the book is worth it. Okay.
Okay.
Emotion Code. And we are recording, and I will send you an unlisted link so that you can watch it. And I do ask permission that if I could show this to my students, and then if I ever wanted to take part of it out, I would send that to you and then say, is this okay if I use this like on YouTube or something? So I would never use it publicly without asking you, but I do ask that I could show my students if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So what you're,
So,
go
something I
ahead.
just noticed, hold on. If you want to kind of look at my curtains and your curtains,
Oh, they're the same. That's so funny. I love
I
that.
was just looking at them and I'm like, that's not my background, that's yours.
Ah, yeah,
I just had to point that out.
that
But
is,
I was
no,
totally listening to
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go back. So this is a pendulum. You have a
Okay.
pendulum or no?
I don't right now, no.
So you can get one off of Etsy. This one is super freaking cool. But I
That is
also,
beautiful.
isn't it? It was like $40. It's handmade, wrapped in copper. Was like, yes, ma'am, thank you. I will take it. The other thing is that you don't necessarily, if money is tight, and I don't know if it is or not, but you don't. So this is an old necklace from my mom, an old charm that I think was my mom's too. I don't even, to be quite honest, I don't even know where the charm came from. But once you kind of create a relationship with the pendulum, right, you can use anything.
Okay.
Okay. I even have this really neat rose quartz one that bless its heart. I'm not trying to insult you, rose quartz, but it's just a cheapie. It's probably a $5 pendulum. And that sucker is responsive as a heifer. She'll give me a yes. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna set the baseline. I always stick my hand under there because I consider this kind of my spirit team. Whether I know all their names or who all of them are or not, it doesn't really matter. It just kind of, I feel like it feeds the energy of the pendulum. And then what you're gonna want to do, I always try to keep my arm really still because I'm always concerned about micro movements or just, I never want to think that it's bullshit. How about that? Right.
Right.
And so I try to keep my arm really still because I'm like, if you're going to move, you're going to move on your own. So I'm like over the top with it. I'm like stuck my arm to my side and shit. You know what I mean? But then what you do is you just set that baseline and say, show me a yes. I don't know if you can see this, but it's going back and forth like that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or I should say it's going, I don't know how to explain that. It's going like this. I'm going to exaggerate it. Okay.
Okay.
And then when I say, ma'am, calm your shit. All right, show me a no. It'll go back and forth like that. See how responsive that is?
Oh yeah.
Isn't
Okay.
that cool? Cool as
Yeah.
shit. Now, what happens is that sometimes you'll get other movements. If it goes, oh my God, it just started doing it side to side, it means unknown. Like this is going to be a
Okay.
surprise for you and for the people that you're helping. It's something that you're going to have to kind of live through. Like the universe isn't going to tell us everything, right? And then the other day I had oh God, it's doing it. All I did was think about it. That is fucking cool. It's going clockwise. And then I had one the other day. It was going counterclockwise. Let's see. Okay, I feel like my hand moved a tiny bit on that one, but it's going counterclockwise, just the tiniest bit. But I don't have a definition for clockwise or counterclockwise yet. So I was like, oh, my spirit team is getting ahead of me. Please download this info, right? So get yourself a pendulum, use a necklace, use something that means something to you. All it needs to do is be able to obviously like move one way or the other, right? I don't know, you can't see. I'm still sticking my hand under there. But I think that's really going to help you. If you get that book, The Emotion Code, and then you get a pendulum, you can go through and kind of check, and they have the list of the emotions and where they might be trapped online. Again, I wouldn't pay for the course. And then you go through and you just kind of say, okay, there's 3 columns. It'll explain to you how to do it, but you basically can kind of pinpoint where your trapped emotions might be that are affecting your health.
Okay.
right? I feel like we
Okay.
all have definitely energetic, excuse me, energetic things that get trapped within us. And then you don't have to, I wouldn't pay anyone to do that for you. You can always come back to me if you feel like it didn't work and we could talk through it. The other thing is called, sometimes I think I buy these things just to tell other people about them. That's how the universe works for me sometimes. This is a tuning fork. I don't know if you've ever seen these or heard of these.
Mm-hmm.
So you can literally kind of reset. This would be super good for your husband as well. And you can kind of
Okay.
reset some of the vibrations in your body. I'm not saying he's not going to have MS. I'm just saying it's going to
Well,
help
right.
him. Yeah. It's going to help him with mood, and it's going to help him with, there's another book called You Are the Placebo, which basically talks about how our belief systems can add to our health. You know what I mean? And so for
Mhm.
this one, you kind of go like this, you can hear it, and then you literally put it on different parts of your body.
Okay.
This is called, and I'm not associated with them, biofield tuning. I got this to make me healthy. Um,
Okay.
honestly, and it's not horribly expensive, but this was like $200 for the package. So
Okay.
it's not cheap, but it's not ridiculous, right? Some people out there are like, for $1,200. No.
Right.
No. And this one comes with, it's again biofield tuning, not associated with them at all. Comes with this little, if you get the kit, it comes with this little really cool thing where significant back chakras, there's a book that comes with it. Like let's say you're having problems in your bottom chakra, busyness, overdoing, overthinking, things we want to be doing, being or having unmet needs. So it has like all this really interesting information. And I kind of think sometimes if we just start somewhere, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That our body recognizes the attempt to heal, and our body recognizes kind of the attempt to clear these old emotions and get rid of some of that stuck energy in you. So is it your mom that you have problems with?
Yeah, we don't have the greatest relationship.
Okay. Because I feel like her energy's here a little bit, because she didn't have a very great relationship with her mother either. You would understand that.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like this weird cycle where and I feel like that's why you have feminine spirit guides as well, is because you're kind of missing a little bit of that nurturing. Um, your mom didn't get it either, but that's no excuse. And that's kind of what I'm telling her energy. Like, well, you're, over 18. You
Yeah.
could go figure out what it means to nurture others. Is your dad still alive? Yes.
Yep.
And they're still together? Yes.
No.
They're not. Okay. So that was where the toxic came in, right?
Yeah. My dad is a whole nother story, and I wish I could just,
You can. I
yeah.
mean, don't go kill him. That's an episode of Snack.
Oh,
But you
cut him off. I meant cut him off.
yeah.
I
So
didn't mean the unalive part.
Here, that's funny. Here's the thing: you can definitely remove his energy from your aura, from your energy field. It doesn't mean that you cut him off completely and never talk to him again, but you just kind of go through the process of saying, this is my aura. This is my energy field, and I'm done letting certain people into it. I'm done saying yes to the toxicity. I'm done saying yes to the fuckery. I'm done saying yes. You know what? In fact, I'm just going to give you something for the next 2 weeks. The only one you say yes to are your husband and your son. Done. 2 weeks. Practice it. Live it. Be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't help you right now.
Okay. That's
To your mom, your dad. You have siblings, yes?
Yes.
2?
I have with 3 half siblings.
Oh, okay. So you don't have anyone that's sibling.
Nope.
Okay. Did your mom have 2 losses? Would you know?
I know she had a couple of abortions.
Same thing. Same thing in the spirit world. How interesting. Whoo, spirit, you are fucking with me today. God damn, that was good. I love this shit. They're with you too. You have a lot of support over there and you need it. You need it. You have been at a breaking point for some fucking time. And you're just like, this is bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to work on your energy field. We're going to work on you saying no to other people. Remember that they have had their challenges too, but you've been that person already. You've already been the person to say, I know my mom's this way because of this, and I know my dad's this way because of this. So yes, they are. But at the same time, we're now protecting our aura and our energy field, and they can be that way on their own toxic time. Doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life. I am not a proponent for that at all. It means that when you are with them, you are so aware that this is my energy field and that one is yours. And that's where you're going to call on this feminine spirit guide. Number one, I just got chills. God damn, this is an awesome reading. I'm dying here. This is where you're going to call on this feminine spirit guide, because she is a very nurturing spirit guide. She is who you were, I almost feel like, when you were younger. And so she wants to fill your bucket with some of the things that you didn't get when you were younger. And even as a young woman, you're like, can I just get someone to fucking be normal? God.
Yeah.
Let her fill your bucket. Call on
Okay.
her. I don't have a name for her per se. I do feel like she's kind of a unicorn color ball of energy. If you had almost like that translucent rainbow, the
Okay.
see-through iridescent rainbow ball of energy. She's very unicornish. She's very fairy-ish. She's very just this neat nurturing ball of energy. And I also feel like part of her is actually part of you from when you were younger. So go ahead and let that younger you back in, kind of a little bit at a time, right? If you let her all back in, you'll be all crying and sad, and you'll be like, well, this didn't fucking work, right?
Okay.
So let her back in a little bit at a time, and just kind of recognize that that energy is like literally with you and has been trying to clean up your aura and your energy field for some time. The holes in your aura and in your energy field, some of those are self-induced. You've made some mistakes. You're not perfect. But a lot of those are taking on the emotions and the haphazard and the fuckery of others. And you didn't have a choice. I'm not saying you had a choice, right? Like you're a caring person who's like, well, that's my mom or that's my dad. So we're gonna kind of quit that. Okay. The only one you're saying yes to for the next 2 weeks, your kid. You have just the one?
Two.
Two. So your kids. I don't feel the other one. Is it a little girl?
No, I have two sons, two adult sons, and an adult stepson.
Huh. I just felt the one. Okay, that's okay.
Well, maybe
Um,
because he's with his girlfriend all the time right now. He's emotionally detached right now.
there you go. All right. Okay. Um, I actually feel like I actually felt the girlfriend more than the son. So you guys are actually, you enjoy her, yes?
I love her. I
And
adore
she
her.
enjoys you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I felt daughter. That that is some of the energy that you will be able to sit in that younger energy.
Okay.
You are like a big kid, number one, and you enjoy that younger energy, but it's healthy for you. That younger
Okay.
energy is very healthy for you. And little silly things, like I kind of see, like I see this girl as like she likes crafting, and she's a little bit, I don't want to say emotionally immature, but she's a child, even though she's old enough to not be it. Like I need a better word for that. It's like it's not immature, it's a nativity. It's like the
Okay.
rose colored glasses, right?
Yeah.
It's like everything's going to be fine. It's the optimist. The glass is half full. We're doing fine. She's a very silver lining kind of girl. Sit in that. You can say yes to
Okay.
her. You can say yes to her.
Okay.
Your kids, your husband, her.
Okay.
Everyone else or knows. Everyone else or knows. And then there's an animal that even takes some work.
There's what?
Is there an animal in your life that even takes some work? It's like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I've got a little jealous dog. That, every time my husband and I get close, he's like, excuse me, face right here. Like,
Oh
can I
my
have kiss?
God.
Can I have kisses too? But he's my
Yeah.
little honey boy. Like I adore him so much.
Yeah. No, but he's a lot. He's a
He
lot.
is. He
Yeah.
is.
And
He's
he's
not sitting on my lap just because I have a laptop desk. Even if I had the laptop, he'd be trying to sit on my lap right
that
now.
is so funny. I have to, it's really hot here in Colorado and I don't have AC. Um,
Oh,
so he was coming through a little bit too. He's really funny because he was like, don't forget about me. And he said he's jealous. So he's like, I'm telling him like she needs, she can poop in peace. That like if we could just maybe like not follow her to the restroom. Like let's have just a couple of dog boundaries.
he's a
You
little toddler. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you were kind of thinking actually about getting your dog a dog. Is that accurate?
Um. Okay. Funny story. Last little over a year ago, I'm like, the dog always wanted to be with my cats. We no longer have cats, but the cats were afraid of the dogs. So my little dog, I'm like, let's get him a kitten. Well,
Yeah.
when we brought the kitten home, he literally bit the kitten's ear. And like, he was curious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, the cat ran away,
Oh
didn't come
no.
back or something happened, but we don't have one. But I'm always thinking we need to get the dog a cat, even though I want a cat. I'm like, we should get the
Yeah.
dog a cat. I'd love to have another dog, but that's just not, he's
I
too
do I
jealous for that.
I actually do feel like you should get the dog a cat. I actually do. I don't know if
My
that'll hold up.
husband is laughing right
I know.
now.
I was just gonna. Oh my God! I was just gonna say I don't know if that'll hold up in the court of law of your husband, but when you're like, let's look, the energy lady said, sorry for the noise.
Oh, you're fine.
Yes. Okay. So where were we? Let's circle back. We're almost done. Oh, you know what I did mean to ask you? Did you already pay?
Yes, I did. I sent
Awesome.
you
Thank you.
an email of the receipt.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm a one-woman show and also scattered. All right. Well,
I
that
understand.
was a lot of information. So is there any of that information you would like me to follow up on a little bit?
I I don't know. Maybe I just want to say hi to my grandma. Since she did come through. Like,
Yeah, she's with
hi, I
you a
love you. I
lot.
miss you.
Yeah, she's with you a lot. She also does take responsibility that she was not the best mother either. And so if she didn't set a good example, I do feel like, would you know that?
To my mom, maybe. I'm not really sure, but I know that the grandchildren had a really, really great relationship with her, and
That,
she was the most nurturing thing in my life.
aw. So here's what's funny about grandmas and grandchildren, and this comes up a lot. She actually, I see that she was quite stern and critical of your mother, actually, and that she created a lot of anxiety in your mother. And obviously, your mother could verify this for you, but your mother's also kind of stuck in that victimhood status. So she's absolutely going to see that your grandma's at fault. So it's not a conversation that I really feel like would be healthy for you, to be quite honest. I do feel like your grandma is taking 100% responsibility for that. And she's actually saying that your grandpa, would you understand? So your grandpa's over there too, yes?
Yes.
He was very stern and a bit of an asshole, almost abusive. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And so what happens and what does happen and has happened, and your grandma's kind of bringing through, is that your grandpa would make her so anxious that she would then make the children anxious, and that the nurturing that she learned how to do was almost her own spiritual journey as an older person, kind of like I'm going through now, right? If I had a grandkid in front of me right now, I'd be the most nurturing thing in the world, because I'd be like, I really fucked it up the first time. I didn't, but I mean, my kids are
Yeah.
like kind of, and that is also kind of just how relationships go. So she is showing me, okay, so she showed me this 3 times, and I don't know if this will mean anything to you, but it almost like a shared memory of you at a piano. Either she had a piano or there was some sort of a piano that you would have sat at. Not that you knew how to play the piano, but it's kind of in this living room situation. And it was, she would have had a house, I feel like, where it was kind of one of those old fashioned houses where, do you remember when they used to put like plastic wraps on the couch and you had certain things you couldn't touch and certain things you couldn't sit on? Do you remember this house?
That would have been a different grandma.
Oh, interesting. Well, she might just be popping through then, because I'm
Okay.
talking to this grandma, but I kept getting the piano and the and the covered furniture and the kind of almost that she was a little bit opposite of the grandma that we were talking about previous. Yes.
Yes.
And like still stern, and she didn't, you would understand, she didn't go through like a whole spiritual thing. She kind of stayed in her sternness, if you will. She kind of stayed in her it's kind of like the grumpy old grandma. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
interesting. Now she's laughing. So what happens is they will come through as they used to be, so that you know that they're here.
Okay.
But then once they get over there, they get to realize kind of where they went wrong, if you will. And she's laughing and she's like, I had so many chances to be a better person. And it's almost like this facetious, like I really fucked up a few things there. She wasn't a cusser, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like she was a cusser, but I'm a cusser, right? And she's like, I really screwed some things up. And so this is your dad's mother?
Dad's grandmother.
Oh, dad's grandmother.
Yeah.
And she raised dad, yes?
She- yeah,
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
yeah. She said it was a different time. We were taught to be different people. She does see the humor in some of it now, but she also sees the serious in some of it now, because your dad is, kind of fucked up, right? Which you already kind of let me know. So that grandma is apologizing. So you have your mother's grandma, and you guys already had a good relationship. You said she was nurturing, right? But she does take responsibility for not, for kind of making your mother anxious and not being kind of all she could be. However, she does acknowledge that your mother's stuck in that cycle as well. This grandma over here is actually apologizing to you, because she said, I could have been a way better grandma. Like, I see her smacking your hand. I see, like, no, those cookies aren't for you. And you're like, I'm a kid. How are cookies not for me? Right. I don't know if
Right.
that's an actual memory or just an example. But I see, like, there was only certain stuff you could touch in the house. There was only certain stuff you could, like, I don't even see any animals in her house. Like, I don't even see like anything. Like, it was just very
Mm,
strict and stern and almost, I don't want to say loveless, because she had emotion, but nobody necessarily got to see it. Would you understand that?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's apologizing as well, because she's like, you know what? Like, this grandma's like, I raised your mom, so I'm going to take responsibility. And this grandma's over here like, I raised your dad, so I'm going to take responsibility. And that's what happens when they get over there, right? In hindsight, and they get to see everything. They're like, oh, well, really screwed that up on some things. You know what I mean? Um, Very cool. Yeah. And then, all right. So just Jack is back.
Oh,
He wants to, he wants to remind you to have fun. I actually feel like he's going to be like your fun guide, if you will. And then your grandma's here. This grandma is not necessarily, she says, I am here if you ever need me, call on me. But since we didn't have that kind of a relationship, she's also not going to insert herself into a space that doesn't necessarily feel comfortable for you, if that makes sense. This grandma over here, though, however, is bringing up maple syrup, waffles, chicken, cooking, baking. Um, are you a cook? You would understand that's like one of your love
yeah.
languages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with her.
Ah, okay. She's saying keep that love language going, even if people are putting on the pounds. It's okay. This is your this is
That
your
is my
thing.
love language. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. She's very cool. So she's with you. You still have this feminine spirit guide that's just this translucent ball of energy, honestly. Just Jack. The other two, there's two more male ones and a kid one, but we didn't get to them, and that's okay. They're like taking notes. That's funny. Your spirit team's working very hard with you and on you.
Okay.
You have a lot of support in the spirit world. So just keep that in mind. Get that book, get a pendulum, start working through some of those emotions. You
Okay.
don't need anybody to remove curses. You don't need anyone to do it for you. If you have a hard time doing it, you're always welcome to come back to me and we can talk through it. But I
Okay.
just don't want to see you get scammed, right, by anyone.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
so much of this we can do ourselves.
Yes.
So much of it.
And I appreciate that. That's why I was like, you seem like a no BS, down to earth, like tell me how it is, aren't gonna scam me. And I'm like, let's check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Stephanie, I have another one coming up. So it was so good to meet you. And I've enjoyed this. This was a very fun reading. I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming in.
Yes, thank you so much, Mariana. I really loved it.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.